right into this topic here. Let me just quickly get organized. I'm sorry. Have you been around already so far at the fair? I mean, it's noon, 3 hours. For sure, you've been here at the setup.
The short answer is yes. I have been around a little bit, not as much as I want to. But at the end of the day, it is incredible what every year comes next, and also pretty much the speed and velocity of things. It is very impressive to see.
Okay. For you, Volker?
I just walked by. I'm staying on. Thought we are still in hall 9, which we are not. So I walked by all the halls in between. So I have seen a bit, but not enough. Certainly, there's so much more to see, and certainly also on our booth, so much more to see that I missed. But I will do that.
Okay, you still have a lot of time after we conclude this session. I mean, for sure. Christoph, you're working so closely with all this technology. This is nothing new to you because you work on it, you develop it. You more or less, you're the brain behind it in lots of those cases. Mm-hmm. So this is like, okay, yeah, there is nice things going on. Now let me set the foundation for this discussion here. For sure, you agree that the industrial world is evolving quickly. With the use of AI, there is a new era. I mean, we see it in our private lives. Volker, how is this transforming how companies create products and manage their operations?
Exactly. So first of all, AI is now here to stay. That's clear to all of us, and it's here for a while. And now we really need to prove. We need to prove with AI that we can speed up processes, that we can increase quality, that we are more efficient at the end of the day. And that's also something that why we from Siemens really believe with great partners like Microsoft, we can deliver to that promise with all our products that are using then Microsoft and building that together. That's certainly something that we believe on. And when we look here in our booth, be it with a consumer packaged goods or other examples, we already showcase that there is efficiency gains and faster time to market and things like that.
Now, Christoph, from your point of view, how is AI impacting manufacturing? And what is Microsoft and Siemens' joint vision for harnessing this exciting technology together?
Sure. How much time do we have? Because it is absolutely insane to see the transformation that is happening right now. And I mentioned it before, and I will mention it again. The way how many people see it in these days, including myself, it is the fifth industrial revolution. It is ultimately, we have seen many industrial revolutions before. They were always here to stay, Volker, to your point. It will not be something that just goes away as a fashion trend, because it foundationally changes the way that we interact in everything that we do. Mm-hmm. So for the first part of the question with regards to what is changing, and what is changing ultimately, like all the other industrial revolutions as well, it is all about speed, it is all about efficiency, it is all about velocity, it is just doing things more optimized in a world that is more complicated. So back in the days when we pretty much moved into the energification of things, it was all about that we human pretty much used machinery and energy for certain things. Now we use AI because many of our daily lives is actually really about repetitive nature. It is about the things that ultimately AI can do really well, that we humans can oversee, that we can really supervise. And so ultimately it is what we see everywhere is just the incredible speed on how things can be really tried out, really implemented, and quite honestly, driven innovation with. The way Siemens and Microsoft work together is exactly at this balancing point, because you need core expertise on engineering, you need core expertise on the process, you need core expertise on software, you need core expertise on cybersecurity, you need core expertise. There's a lot of moving parts that have to happen at the end of the day. And so it is nearly impossible to think that a single application, a single tool, a single something does all of it, but rather in this new modular world, it is really about how do I use best of breed elements from Siemens, from Microsoft, how do I bring them together so that it really helps the customer to get to what I always call the 0 to 80% very quickly, in order to then really just for customers to add their spice on top of it. And this is also why it is so exciting to work with Siemens together, because it is leveraging each other's core competencies at the end of the day.
I can literally feel the passion you bring along for this topic, Christoph. That's great. Now, Volker, let me come to you. Siemens definitely has an extensive legacy of shaping manufacturing across processes across the board. With that historical context in mind, where does AI in the current manufacturing landscape, what is it changing in regards of what kinds of modern day manufacturing problems are being addressed by AI?
So when you look at that, and we all feel it, take the supply chain disruptions, for example. You feel it, I feel it, we see it in the industries as well. One of the conclusions out of it is from that you talked about, it's changing all over the place, volatility that we see. Yeah. You go there and say, hey, I need to do more nearshore. I need to go more into this localization topics. And there you need to ask yourself, hey, if I move the factory, central factory, to more disparate world, do I have the right resources? Do I have the skilled workers there? And that's where AI can perfectly fit, augmenting what we already have and then catering the needs of a different workforce. So for example, though, that's a great example where I see it's really AIs coming in and delivering what we already have. Also thinking about CNC programming, we talk a bit later about what great things we do at the booth together. So this is about those kind of examples. And certainly when we think about the innovation. So AI has the capability to analyze large data sets. This is one of the beauties that AI has. So think about getting into the data that you have on hand and then do the analysis, train it on your own data, and then come up with a better speed of processes, adjusting it. Those kind of things, I think it's very important for us to understand that AI really helps us in those kind of cases. Just two examples, basically.
Mm-hmm. Great. Now, we're on the shop floor. Now, let's talk about the cloud. We're talking about digital solutions. Christoph, what is Microsoft's perspective on the role of AI in manufacturing when talking about bringing it up to the cloud, where you help us tremendously, obviously?
It's a really good question. It's a complicated nuisance to all of this. To Volker's point, AI ultimately accelerates everything. So the way that we talk about it in these days is we are moving towards a supervisor model that ultimately humans will not be involved in the nitty-gritty decision-making process of everything, but they supervise the entire process. At this point, supervision also requires a very different approach to where decisions are being made, when they're made, and how. So, for example, you will not have core expertise in the factory alone any longer. If you go into lights-out manufacturing, if you really go supply chain optimization, you cannot talk to the one person that maybe sits in one country because it's not there any longer. So there's this effort that really goes, you have to go more centrally. Mm-hmm. You really have to move up in order to really just operate at scale. You can run the AI anywhere. You can run them locally, but the supervisor model has to sit at a certain altitude in order to really gain the benefit of having pretty much regionless capabilities, in order to understand that it's more about a decision process rather than the human that is particularly in one place. And at this part, or at this particular junction of the supervision, naturally the cloud comes in to not only augment, but to kind of complete the solutions that we have pretty much on site, whether it is in a factory, whether it is on a ship, whether it is for supply chain optimization, or whether it is at the supervision level to say we move up in order to then drive the decisions down. And this is also where the let's call it the synergy comes in. To say we have at Microsoft, we always call it managed globally, executed locally. To say it's really about this element of that you can manage this all up, and then you know how to bring it down where the decision is being made. And that perfect balance is also what brings our solutions together. Core expertise, as I mentioned many times before, over here, over there, and how do you manage them at scale? Because this ultimately, this I have this one guy or this one person that knows everything about this one particular thing, that will not help scale any longer. And that's how it all works together.
Okay, long answer, very detailed,
Sure.
but great insights. I love
Yeah.
it. So, Volker, we are showcasing things
Yes.
here at the fair. That's
Yes.
why we are here. What exactly are we showing together at this fair booth on AI-powered manufacturing of humanoid components?
So when you go into Hall 17, which I recommend to all of you, go there to the Microsoft booth after you have seen everything at the Siemens booth. Okay, not before, obviously. But what you see here is certainly a humanoid robot that you see everywhere. But it's not about what the humanoid does. It's about how the humanoid is manufactured. At least parts of it. We're taking a totally different perspective on it. And that's about this humanoid moves left and right. And it's about the servo motor. And that's where we have used our portfolio, NX X, with a co-pilot. So what does it add? And what you exactly said, the experts, yeah? So it helps, supervision, supervisory, those kind of things. It helps the designer, and that's what you see on top of here, with this design, engineering, manufacturing, and the AI helping it to code the CNC program, basically. So start with the NX X. We're helping the designer of the product with the right assessment with natural language. So it's a co-pilot application that runs with Microsoft. So this is something where we gain really 30% efficiency. When we come then to the engineering and manufacturing part, though, it's about how you drill holes, how you drill pockets with a machine. You really need to think about which kind of tool I have, which kind of machine I have. And then with the AI algorithm that's trained on your data from the past, basically, AI suggests. So this is a supervisionary support that we get out of AI to the designer saying, hey, this I would recommend you. And it's not a decision of the AI, still the human in the loop that decides that. And with that, you get even more, up to 50% of efficiency designing that specific part. And then going over to the CNC programming, really down to the machine, to the CNC machine, with that knowledge really being much faster, much shorter time to value, to really accelerate that and prove that AI really helps us gaining speed at the end of the day. And think about the next innovative example. Think about you buying a new machine, and your skilled workers that you have today are not used to that. But you have all your data, you have all your procedures, you have all your rules, that the data that you have trained, the AI that you have trained, knows. And now combining it with the data of the new machine from the machine builder. Bring that together and accelerate how your workers learning the new machine. Those kind of examples we really have in mind. Just one of those that we think in a great collaboration together with you guys.
We appreciate it.
So we're talking about what we can already achieve. We got 1 minute left. One sentence from each of you.
Wow.
Maybe you start, Christoph. What do you see in the further away, in the not saying far future, because at these times you can't say far anymore. I think next year we'll already have the far future.
Far is 6 months. In these days. Now, what we will see is in a very short version, we will continue to accelerate on the supervisory model, and we humans will become the experts. And we are not close, and I personally don't believe that we get to this point of that it will replace all of us. As a matter of fact, ain't going to happen. But it is more about that the efficiency gains, and that we really become this powerhouse of the soft skills that who we're really good at, and we really let AI run with the hard skills. And that's a very good pattern for us to really just accelerate. It's incredible to see across everything.
Great. I mean, it's fantastic to see how much wisdom, know-how, technology, partnership comes together in order to create those solutions in such a short time. And I'm really curious to see more of that in the near future. But for sure, our audience here shall not miss to visit you in Hall 17. But Volker, for you, the near future is over there in the consumer packaged goods area. This is where you're located, right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. By the way, soft skills, we have something for you which provides soft skin, Christoph.
I promise you.
The only reason I brought it up.
This is for all our guests, our external speakers, a nice
really
gift from
appreciate it.
Siemens customer Natura in Brazil, produced with Siemens technology.
I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Kip,
Big
thanks for
round of
having us.
applause to the two of
Thank
you, and all the best of success. Handing it
Thank you.
over to Melissa now. I'll
Thank you for
join
having
you,
us.
leaving the stage.